It's an overcast day in the middle of April, and I'm going to take you for a walk around the garden so you can see how the garden grows. This is our quiet corner. We're panning from the back door. That's the greenhouse with the porch swing. That's the wood pile for all the projects. This is underneath the weeping willow tree. I'm going to pan up here. That branch you see in front of it, that's the katsura tree, which is right next door. Got lots of bleeding hearts and ferns underneath the willow because it likes lots of shade. You can see how the ferns are coming out. This is the katsura tree. It's a Japanese tree. When it comes fall, those leaves right there at the top, they turn first to a yellow and then to kind of a golden color and then to an orange, and when they fall they smell like brown sugar. It's very, very nice. There's the bathing girl that was mother's for years, and right next to it are the winter crocuses and one of the bird feeders. Now I'm going to walk out there because we got a lilac, so we're going to bounce a little bit here. Down on the deck, outside deck that is. These are going to be crocosmias here. They'll be beautiful orange blooms next to one of the bird baths. And this is a honeysuckle on the edge. And the one that's leaning out there that needs to be staked up a little bit better, that's a clematis called a Dr. Rupel. It has big, huge purple blooms. If you've gotten different pictures from me that show a big bloom with 5 petals on it, that's what it is, and it's going to be in bloom here soon. The wisteria is that archway in the upper part of the picture. And then you've got the bird bath down below. This is what I call my mosaic garden. I'm going to kind of zone in on a little piece of it here so you can see what it looks like. That's a corydalus, the white blooms there. And then you can see everything, all the different kinds of little pieces of glass that are in this minus gravel. And I'll back up a little bit so you can see the actual little thing that I'm on here. There's actually pieces like this that are full of different kinds of colored glass. Some point in time, I'm going to take them up and lay them in cement so they'll stay all natural. We'll go over here. That chartreuse colored plant is called Creeping Charlie. Here's a fern that's unfolding. We'll get a good picture of it here so you can see when it's fully unfolded. Those are hardy geraniums. You'll see them in pink. And this is a lovely daylily that'll be in yellow later on. Go over here and get a little bit more of the mosaic garden. You can see we have all kinds of little things hidden in it. You need to get rid of some of that green stuff that's growing in there. That's the thug of the garden. It was violets. Bird bath that needs to be cleaned. Okay, and then this, later on, not too far from now, this garden right here, which is underneath the wisteria, will be solid flowers and there will be columbines. Ooh, there's one in bloom over here. Let's walk over here a little bit closer and look at it. Ooh, and there's one there too. See? Let's pick its head up a little bit so you can see it. They're really, really pretty little blooms. And they're all different colors when they bloom. So, let's look back this way. The wisteria is coming out in blooms. It'll hang down here like big grapes. It'll be so pretty. And there is the squirrel feeder and the nut feeder for the blue jays. Dad calls them all Mr. Blue, whether they're one or the other. And then there's a huge lilac here. See the purple blooms on it? Hopefully you can see those. That was Mama's. She wanted the really dark colored lilac. These used to be sprinklers, but they're not sprinklers anymore. Now they're just artwork. I like dragonflies. This, back up a little bit here, this is a mock orange, and it becomes very, very large. That's the reason it's been cut down so far, is it'll fill up this whole area in here. There's more ferns here that are unfolding, and I'll give you a shot of this. That's a Mexican feathergrass, and see the new growth that's coming out on it? That's going to become all poofy and really, really cool later on. See some more of the mosaic garden there with a heart or two and some more glasses. Sometimes the crows pick up the different glass and carry them around. They think they're pretty. Walkway, and I'll kind of pan up here a little bit. The walkway goes out to another bird feeder there. Over here, those are the windows to my living room on the back of the house, which is kind of like a sunroom. And it has campanula growing underneath it. There'll be some real tall Lucifer crocosmias. There'll be some daylilies. There were earlier some daffodils, and then I don't know if you can hear the pond. We'll be quiet here. Lean over here. Oh yes, you can hear it, I bet. Let me turn around here so you can look at it. So this is all behind the pond here, and it's daylilies, ferns, lavender. There's that big bush back there behind the tulips. That's going to be a beautiful Chinese peony, which is just gorgeous. It's pink. There's the pond. It has bubbles in it because we put a little bit of bleach in it in order to keep it nice and clean. Seeing as it's out here in the sun, it tends to get moss in it if you don't put a little bit of bleach, and it doesn't hurt the birdies. Now we're going to pan this way. This is all of the daylily bed, and this will be in full bloom. It'll be just gorgeous in another 2 months. And over here, oh, we've got some more crocosmias, or some more columbines coming up. Here's a purple one down here. See, aren't they pretty? Lovely things. Okay, I also see a dandelion. What would a garden be without a dandelion, right? And there's a volunteer fern that came up below the steps of the Moroccan room. It's very tenacious. Okay, and then we have another tree here. We're going to pan up here. This is the mountain ash, and the birdies planted this, and we just kept it because we thought it was really pretty, and the birdies love all the berries off of it. So that's the mountain ash, and it has a bird feeder hanging on it also. Now we're going to walk on down the path here. There's another lilac over here, right there. That's the end of my east porch. Here we'll walk over here and look at the bloom up close. Isn't that pretty? Look at that bloom. Oh, and you should smell it. It's just delicious. And then down here at its feet is another corydalus, and look, it's yellow. Haven't been able to get the blue ones to grow here. The blue ones don't seem to like it very well. That's another clematis there called a Polish spirit. It'll be in full bloom soon. Look at the apple tree. Whoa, it's going crazy. And the cherry tree already did, so cherry tree will have cherries soon. And now we're going to pan over here to Dad's raised garden bed. This right here at the bottom of the picture is going to be a bed of corn. And then over to the right, behind the little picket fence, that raised bed has squash in it. And the one on the left will have tomatoes in it. And then back on the fence back there, that's two different kinds of table grapes. There's a green seedless and a red seedless, and they're both what they call heritage grapes, so they've been around a long time. In front of the raised beds are 4 beautiful blueberry bushes and a really, really tall cedar tree. Look at that! And that's where the squirrels live. Isn't that nice? Okay, so now we're going to walk around here. I have this little mailbox here, and it has all my tools, well, not all my tools, but it has a set of tools in it, so that way I don't have to walk all the way back there to the greenhouse. We're looking back, and that's the end of the Moroccan room there too. Or I can go to the shed over here, which has tools in it too. But these little tools over here, whoops, I hope I'm not going too fast for you. I'm new to this. These tools are the hand tools for the garden there. Okay, so we're going to walk over here. See, the blueberries are blooming. They're going to do really nicely this year. And then this is another peony. And the peony here is actually a really deep, almost red. And then it has, in addition to it, a white one in there. And then this is mint, which I can put in my tea. And back there behind it, see that yellow that's blooming? That's a currant bush. So I actually can have fresh currants, I can have dried currants. And the nifty thing is I wish we had smell-o-vision here, because it smells like, oh, it just smells delicious. It smells like clover, like cloves. It's just delicious stuff, really good. Now this is the corkscrew willow, and for Maryland, if she's watching this, she will know that I trimmed a whole bunch off. There's a whole bunch still down there, okay? But every year it grows as tall as that building behind us, which is a storage unit. And so I have to cut it back all the way. But by the time I make another video of this in, say, August or September, that tree is going to look like it never was cut down. This one is a butterfly bush. It's the same way. It goes crazy. And then we're going to walk over here and look really close at the grape and show you a little bloom off of it. See, it's beginning to bloom right there and grow right there. And it's got some more blooms down here and some more down here. There's some there. So we're going to have plenty of grapes. We ought to do really well on the grape line here. There's raspberries over there, okay, and Dad's infamous rhubarb, which I'm not a rhubarb lover, so he has to make his own rhubarb. And another form of blueberry bush, which is also blooming. And then this is where most of the glads and something called shell lilies come up. And then that's also another daylily there, that's that green stuff in the middle. This is a ground cover here called ajuga that's covering up, keeps the weeds down, which is nice. Oh, that's my little garden bin. That's where I put my extra soil. I need to get some more, in fact. A nice heather. And this is a japonica. It usually blooms red, but we're past its bloom right now. But look at this other lilac. Isn't that just the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen in your whole life? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And it is just blooming like a house of fire. Well, I don't know, house of fire. Well, it's blooming a lot. A lot, and it's very tall. And I cut it back last year, and so it's doing very nicely. Okay, we're going to walk down this path. We're now in the East Garden. These are trimmings here on the left that I took off of the red twig dogwood, and these were too big to go into the barrel, so Amos has to come and actually saw them up. You're going to get down here, walk around. There's the red twig dogwood that I took down really low. And then this is one of my favorite scenes in the spring. This is a euonymus which is the thing that's kind of yellow and green variegated. It's got a Japanese grass in front of it. That blue stuff is called lungwort. And then it's got a Victoria quince behind it that's espalier, which means it's flat against the lattice work there. It doesn't grow out a ways. And then if we kind of go this way, you can see that I've got a couple of cranes and some nice bamboo. And then if we walk this way, and a birdhouse, ta-da! And then if we walk this way just a little bit further, we get into, what is that that's taken over the yard? Why, it is lily of the valley, which is my birth flower. Let's get down here and take a good look at it. Isn't that party? And it's in with the grasses. And we're going to pan this way. We've got a rose bush there called 4th of July. It's striped. We've got a couple of real nice meadow rose in there. Some grasses, another heather, lots and lots of daylilies here of all different kinds. And they're below a tree called a clerodendron. It's one of the last things to get leaves in the spring. I think if we look up here, can we see any? Well, you can see a few of them that are coming out, but it's very slow to get leaves. But it is the neatest tree because when it blooms, it smells like plumeria. I don't know if you guys have been to Hawaii or not, but plumeria is a very fragrant flower there. It has, after it sheds the blooms, it has beautiful berries that are actually turquoise colored. They're just gorgeous. And the neat thing is that if you grab a hold of the leaves and you squish them between your fingers, it smells like peanut butter. So when the girls were little next door, Daddy actually hung jars of peanut butter on the tree and told them that the thing was actually getting fruit. Crazy, I know. That's Tao, the turtle. And you can see my stones here. Let's see if we can get to one that we can see very nicely. They have herons on them. And I went clear to Washington to get them because I wanted a big stone. This stone, you can see with my foot, this stone is really large and very heavy, but it's nice because you can put both feet on it, like that, and you still have room and you're not stepping on anything, unlike a lot of little stones that kind of get in the way. And so we have these all through here, and this is so cool. A friend gave me this. This is an azalea that smells. I wish I knew the name of it for you. I don't. I could maybe look it up. But isn't that gorgeous? But guess what happened? Look, we're going to pan up here. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Ready, set. Wow, look at that. It's orange up here. And it's yellow down here. What's going on? Well, what's going on is this was bought from a really, really old nursery from a lady who had gotten elderly and was basically giving away her plants. And so there's actually a third one that blooms a little later on that's white. And they're all together. So you can look down here in their roots and they look like they're one plant, but they're not. They're actually three. And I also need to weed eat around here, but I got my weed eater stuck because it put the wrong battery on it. Put the battery on it for the drill. That doesn't work, folks. Here's Tao up closer. He weighs about 80 pounds. Took a good-sized gentleman to bring him back here for me. And he's sitting on a really big piece of concrete. And then there's some decorative stones there. And there's going to be some alums over there. And there's actually going to be some nice lilies there. This is a cotoneaster, which has a scarska mixed in with it, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I don't think I probably am, but it blooms in January and is very, very fragrant with very small blooms. Okay, and then we've got the euphorbias. This one's a wolfany. It's about waist high on me, and there's another one over there that's called a let me think no, can't remember. Confetti, that's what it's called, confetti. Okay, and then if you look that way, there's Emperor Ming, the one that I'm always talking about, and he's got buffalo grass on either side of him, and he's got the little turtle by him, which is Taui. Oh, and there's another turtle there too. And then we've got a couple of dragons, and my dragon artwork that I did in class, it's actually a casting that I did. And then if you look back here, that's my back deck, my bedroom window. Later on we'll have different chairs on it. We usually don't put the chairs and stuff out until like Memorial Day or so. And then all of this dead looking stuff in here, that's a fuchsia, 2 fuchsias that should come back every year, but this year it got really, really cold. And so I will probably cut them to the ground, and they will come up from the ground next year. And we won't worry about them because you can see they get quite tall. That's a 10-foot deck there, so they get 10 feet tall at least. And this tree here that has the kind of leftover blooms, that's a columnar apple. It's only supposed to get 12 feet, but nobody told it. So it's more like about 25. And last year it shed its apples on that porch roof, and it sounded like somebody was shooting off bullets. This is a huckleberry, and you can see it's in bloom. I'm going to get a nice crop this year. And this is what they call a fruit cocktail tree. It's grafted. It has plums, apricots, and peaches on it. So we'll see how well it does. It always blooms real early and then it rains. Oh look, you can see the lilac over there behind the apple tree. The apple tree is just gorgeous. I'm going to get over here, get really close to this one bloom because it looks so pretty. Look at that. It's going to be fruit. I think in my next life I'm going to be an orchardist. I just get really excited about fruit. Look at that. Look at that. There's nothing like eating warm fruit off of a tree. I don't know. And then here's another lilac. This one has a female name and I can't remember what it is, but it blooms white and they're more bald. They're not big tall spires like the others. In fact, you can kind of see one up there that's kind of blooming. Let me get around here a little bit. And it's very fragrant. And I put it here by the back porch so that I could enjoy it. Once again, here is the storage unit for all of the hose and rakes and everything, and then we walk on around. So we've done a big circle around here, and we're back to Dad's bed here with the corn. And he once did a bed here, and it turned out that all of my Chinese poppies came up in it, and I won't let him use it for vegetables anymore. So he's kind of at a loss there. Let's go back this way a little bit. Hopefully I'm not shaking you too much. Back past the mountain ash again. And we'll take one last look back toward the pond, back underneath the wisteria, back to the Moroccan room. Because next month when we start this tour, we'll start in the Moroccan room and work our way out. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tour. And next month you'll get to see it even further in bloom.